You're hot.
to graphic open in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll it.
Graphics away. That's in 20 seconds.
20 seconds to cameras.
Got a graphic open in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And cameras are hot. Hey, guys.
Hey.
What up?
Hey. And we're back.
Oops, sorry, guys. Womp womp.
You're gone. All right. Welcome back to another Ready Take Live, your favorite live show about live shows, formerly known as the Science of Broadcast Technology.
Lowers up.
Alrighty. And let's try that again. I
Rerat.
took you out because you got
Okay.
a little eager,
Yeah.
and now you're back in. Have some fun.
Lowers up.
Cool. That's my name. So we added our Twitter handles, everybody. So you can also check us out on Twitter at ReadyTakeObs, ReadyTakeNick, ReadyTakeWalsh. You'll see those as they come up during the show. So today's show is called The Social Influence of Media. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things that happened in the last week that give an interesting perspective into not just live streaming, but the interactive elements of Instagram and YouTube. So to start it off, we're going to bring up Ready Takes. Roll it, graphics. All right, so let's start Ready Takes with Nick Nagurka. Nagurka, what do you have for us today?
All right. So recently, Amazon Prime streaming service has added Thursday Night Football to be available to view live. This has been a pretty interesting addition. They offered the original Fox commentary with Troy Aikman, and then they also offered a pair of female commentary hosts, and interestingly enough, it was very, very difficult to find their commentary when trying to stream the game. Your options included, Walsh, can you throw on that?
Yeah, here you go.
There we go. So your options include English, English UK, Spanish, and the Storm Kramer commentary. You had to jump into your audio settings to access this, which I found to be just a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah, definitely.
Fail.
Yeah, it's a huge
That's
fail.
so awkward.
Yeah, it's like people are going to wonder why nobody listened to these women commentate who are highly experienced sports journalists, and it'll be because it was really difficult to find their commentary. But hopefully Amazon will figure that out in the future, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, that sounds like a fail on Amazon's part, which is weird because they're usually so good about adding commentary to things. Like I think about the Macy's Day Parade, and I think about all the comedic acts they've added for commentary. So this is funny to me that this was where the fail happened.
Right, and they weren't even commenting. They weren't even on site. They were commentating off-site, and they didn't even have a camera. It was just their audio overlaid. So hopefully they'll up the game a little bit and offer it either as a separate stream or find a better way to let viewers know what's up.
Definitely. All right, Nick Walsh, what do you have for us coming up?
I have. We were looking into the Dr. Ford Kavanaugh hearings from last week. That was like the biggest news of last week, and I kind of wanted to look into exactly what are the numbers for it, like how many people were watching online, how many people were watching on TV, and so some of the numbers that I was able to pull, according to Nielsen, about 20 million people were watching on cable.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. It's actually comparable to the Comey testimonies hearings back a few months ago when he got fired. So those are the big national events, which I think is really interesting. Looking at it compared to the digital networks or the digital sides of those cable networks, CBS Network and NBC Digital both claimed that, or both have reported that this is the biggest live event that they've streamed. tuned, also in addition to their, of course, TV programs. And then CNN said it was their 6th biggest day. So those guys were hitting, like CNN was self-reporting 8.2 million. NBC Digital was reporting 3.5 million. And it's always interesting with reporting social numbers because it's like, how do you count a view? If it's like with audio, without audio, if they just started the video, if they actually sat and watched it for 10 seconds. So those numbers are always interesting to me because it's like how, like it feels like digital kind of just counts everything. But then on the same token with with television is, how many bars and how many stores and stuff just had it up as, the ambient viewing experience where you walk into a shop or something and you're watching it kind of subliminally. You're not necessarily trying to watch it or like tuning in on your own TV, but you're actually just watching it where you happen to go, and like how those count as views versus non-views. So, but needless to say, it was a huge event. I know a lot of people had it on like while they're at the office and watching it in the background. So I think it's interesting to see also with events like this how social and how TV are going to compare. I would be interested to see over time, like, does social go up? Does TV stay the same? Does TV go down? I think it's like worth taking a look at.
Yeah, I would think that like when I think about TVs on at bars, there's either nobody watching them or there's like 200 people in a bar crowd watching them.
Right.
So it's kind of like, those numbers are kind of naturally inflated or deflated all the time. So do they end up evening out, or is there like a higher end on one occasion?
Yeah. No, for this particularly, it seemed like TV definitely still had a higher, even over all the social combined, even though it is like really hard to tell, especially because they're also going off of self-reported numbers. I didn't see Nielsen actually releasing an official number of digital, but of course, like OTT networks and everything, it's really hard to tell and see exactly who's watching what. So yeah, an interesting problem, and especially considering how much ad revenue is based on viewer count and stuff, and like peak concurrence and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's all really interesting to look at.
Yeah, definitely. Very interesting. All right, back to Nick Nagurka. Oh no, we already talked to you about Thursday Night Football. So it's my turn. We're going to talk about women in live streaming. So I'm very excited about this. There's a new, what started as a LinkedIn group called Women in Live Streaming. And it is here, I've got some of the tweets from it. So they had their very first meeting at IBC last month, and they had about 125 women come out, which is very exciting. There are 206 members as of about 10 minutes ago when I checked. And it's a very exciting group to be a part of. They're growing constantly, and it's a great way for women in the industry to be able to connect with each other. And I'm the co-chair for the live streaming summit at Streaming Media West in November. And I got to reach out on this platform, on their LinkedIn page, to see who would be available, who was going, and to try and bring more women to bring the presence onto the platform, onto the panels as well. So I think it's a really great opportunity. They also have a Twitter, Women in Streaming Media, so you should all check it out. The LinkedIn is a selective group. You have to ask to be invited, and then they'll invite you in. But the Twitter, anyone can follow. And I'm excited to see what comes with that. On top of that, speaking of streaming media, NAB is this month in 2 weeks, everybody. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And if you come to NAB New York, you could see all 3 of these lovely faces there, which I know is very exciting.
We are the keynote speakers. No, I'm just kidding.
We are not the keynote speakers. I
not.
believe Wendy Williams is a keynote speaker,
Ooh.
though. So get excited.
That's cool.
But yes, LiveX does have a booth. We will be talking about a couple of features that we're rolling out that I can't talk about right now, but get excited. And talking about Production Bot, which we've talked about before on this show. We'll have a whole whole side of our booth for that with Nick Walsh talking about it, and Gaff, one of our other assistant producers. And we have the pleasure of having Wowza Media Systems at our booth this year.
Yeah.
And they'll be talking about the Clearcaster, which we love, and which, if you're watching on Facebook, is exactly how you're watching us right now. So come on down, NAB New York. And then also, since our studios are across the street from the Javits Center, we're going to be having studio tours that whole week as well. So you guys can come on by and get to meet our lovely staff and get to meet Alexis, which everyone should be excited to meet. So NAB New York, come on down, everybody.
Oh yeah.
All right, so now we're going to go to what's going on, and we're going to talk about the social influences of social media. Oh, that was my bad that time. You did your job, and I didn't do mine. This is what happens. We
Classic.
cut it really close to the wire on this one today, but we told you guys we'd be live at 1. And, of course,
it.
we're all doing other things. We were live at 1:01, but we did not get a rehearsal. So,
Ain't no time for rehearsal.
all right, and go ahead, graphics.
Take 2. That's like the theme of today.
That's the theme of
Take 2.
All right, so with this segment today, what's going on? We're going to talk about 3 big things that happened in social media this last week, mainly on the weekend, actually. And we're going to talk. I'm going to flip a coin, and we're going to talk about the positives, which is heads, and the negatives, which is tails, of each of those live streams. So we're going to start this all off with Nick Nagurka. Take it away, Nagurka.
All right, so recently, Will Smith did indeed make good on his promise and jump from a helicopter, bungee style, from
That's
the
the
middle
back
of,
of
the
Will
Grand
Smith.
Canyon. Yes, sure is. It was amazing. I watched the whole thing, and I thought they did an incredible job. Within the first 48 hours, they had 17.5 million views, which is pretty darn good for just his 50th birthday present to himself.
Do we have any photos of his face?
Yeah, I think so.
Just got a lot
Yeah.
of the back of him.
Cycle through these.
These are like his viewpoint.
These are all from. Most of those are from that. If you can see up there in the top,
Yeah.
There he
other helicam.
goes. Sorry, I interrupted you. Keep
Oh
going.
no, it's cool.
Nagurka.
So they had two helicopters there. One of which was a gyro stabilized helicam operated by Fred North, who is an esteemed helicam pilot. I follow him on Instagram, and so I was seeing kind of the rehearsal runs coming up to it, and it was really incredible work. But they were really serious about, of course, safety, because he's doing it himself. It's not just
Put a
it's
lower
not a
end.
stunt. And they had some really beautiful tight follow action from some handheld cams. They had a jib right next to the crowd. A lot of those screen grabs are either from the helicam or from those tight follows when he's actually doing the jump. They had a really great shot where you see just the rope, and you're,
Yeah, that
you're
was
waiting
so
for him
cool.
to come back up, and then all of a sudden, he shoots back up, and they follow him. They nailed it. It was great. And then they also had a nice little POV shot from the rails of the helicopter. Great work. Yeah.
It was very well produced show.
Very
it was
well
very well
produced.
produced.
I mean, they did get enough shots at it beforehand to truly rehearse it, which is kind of a rarity in live. But yeah, I thought it was beautiful.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, and well, they had so many rehearsals for that one, so it's kind of like well done, team. Well done.
Well done.
All right, so let's talk about the positives of positive effects on social media that the live stream had. Wait, well, let me flip the coin to see if we want to talk about positives or negatives. Oh God, negatives. We're talking about the negatives. It's tails. Negatives that stream could have had on social media.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if it's like, what's next? Like, who's gonna try to top that? And then who's like, when does it start getting too dangerous?
It's kind of like
now,
Bonkers TV. It's like
Yeah.
what effect did Jackass have? On,
Yeah, exactly.
Teenagers everywhere.
That's fair.
Yeah. So like, who is gonna like? Where's this gonna go? Is this gonna be like the new thing that celebrities do for their birthdays? Is like do something extreme? Like I know like it was tied to his whole like anti-fear campaign, which is super cool.
It is
But
really cool.
I'm interested to see like what other celebrities are gonna start using this for their brand, and start pushing that, and then doing some like crazy stuff that could be dangerous.
Yeah, this was not a Red Bull show, right?
No,
No,
no.
I don't think so.
I think I don't know. Hopefully, people just don't start doing things that are like environmentally irresponsible.
Yeah.
Or just downright irresponsible, but I don't know. It seems like a cool idea.
Yeah. Well, speaking of irresponsible, I have the next one up, and I'm going to talk about our lovely friend Kanye and his time on SNL this weekend. So no matter how you may feel about Kanye, he had his performance on SNL, and after the performance, and they went off air, and he called all of the rest of the cast back up on stage, and he then he put back on his Make America Great Again hat, which is what he wore during one of the performances, and he went on a rant about Donald Trump and how he was bullied backstage. It was quite interesting. Thank you to Chris Rock's Instagram account for sharing that with the world, because it wasn't viewable to really anyone else. Thankfully, Chris Rock was there, and he documented it. You can actually hear him. We're not going to have the audio on this one, but you can hear him like snicker and say, "Oh my God." So yeah, Kenan Thompson was then interviewed on Seth Meyers and used the words held hostage to describe the SNL cast on that stage. He was not on the stage at that point. He had only been in like one or two of the sketches, or only in the monologue actually on Saturday night. And he was very thankful. He said that he was not in the cast that night to be held up on that stage. So the thing is, though, trying to find numbers on this is almost impossible, because there are multiple Twitter accounts that have since pulled Chris Rock's Instagram down and are using that, so they can all report different numbers. But then Chris Rock's Instagram has since expired that video, and so there's no way to pull numbers from that. He has over 3 million followers. So if you add all those numbers up, you're guessing that at least half of his viewers saw that, plus a bunch of other people who'd heard about it went to his page. At least the Instagram or the Twitter accounts themselves total about 200,000 views, which isn't a whole lot. So I'm guessing that there's a lot more inflated views that we'll never be able to count. But yeah, Chris Rock, everybody. Thanks for sharing that one with the world. Thanks for having your phone out at a show you're probably not supposed to have your phone out at.
Yeah. No one will tell Chris Rock no.
It's true. So let's flip a coin and talk about the positives and negatives of Kanye going on a rant on SNL.
Oh man, I hope it's not heads.
It's tails. We're talk about the negatives.
So I was like, if it was
negative do you
heads,
say?
that would have been like a stretch.
Well, then it's free speech and everyone can have their own opinion.
Yeah. Exercising that.
But as Seth Meyers said so lovely on his show, normally when I find a bunch of people that disagree with me, I don't go, "Come on up here. Come listen to me.
Yeah.
Come on up on stage with me. Come listen
Yeah.
to me talk." So.
Yeah, and I'm like really interested in the choice of, well, because I know like Ariana Grande was supposed to perform and then ended up backing out last minute, and then like Kanye West is like, who's like literally the polar opposite of Ariana Grande. I feel like to like be the person on SNL, especially like because he has a new album coming out and his whole thing is to do something controversial. So like everyone had to know something was gonna happen, and then like. Good, like I'm kind of glad. I guess like Kanye West probably wants to be on SNL again. That's why I didn't do it on air. Like he knew he like specifically waited till they were off air. So it was like seemed spontaneous, but I think it was kind of calculated on his part. As like he's gonna do just enough where he's not gonna get kicked off ever doing SNL again, but like do something that'll go viral, like get a bunch of attention for people. So then now he just like said, I think like he's delaying the release of his album and he's like going somewhere like Africa or something to go work on it, or I forgot what he said, but yeah, I think it's just like a lot. It's just like taking over like viral marketing, and just trying to like dominate the airwaves with just like when you're trying to release an album, and this will be like the 6th album he's worked on this year. So I mean, power to you, Kanye, but that was like definitely a calculated move, I would say.
Yeah, I consider him a very calculated person, and I think he has a lot of very smart people working for him. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's like a genius when it comes to all that stuff, and like his music's great too. But like he's very good at like being in the news when he wants to be.
it's true. It's very true. He did have a what was another quote that he had while he was there? Oh, this is also very political, and I don't take a side on this, but this is the moment where there were 3 claps and Chris Rock laughed. To quote Kanye in Chris Rock's video, "To take fathers out of the home and promote welfare, that's the Democratic plan." He got 3 claps, and Chris Rock laughed and said, "Oh my God." So.
Like if there was a clap-o-meter, it wouldn't have gone up very high.
Yeah,
Like, been like,
We should get one of those.
Yeah, just for personal use. You know?
personal
If
use.
you tell a funny joke at the office, see how it does.
I think it wouldn't do very well.
Yeah, no, we're not
Yeah,
very funny.
That'd be brutal.
Alrighty, and to our third and final fun story of the weekend. Nick Walsh, take it away.
So I wouldn't say fun. I would say interesting at the very least. This is, I don't know if you guys saw it. I think it was over the weekend. It was Lindsay Lohan went on her Instagram Live. Whoops, I'm not Aubrey. That's what I wanted. Trying to talk and do things at the same time. So yeah, she had a really weird Instagram video. I think I read, but I haven't seen this more than once, so don't quote me, but I think I saw she was in Russia or something and saw a homeless family on the street, and then kind of decided that she was going to help them. And so she walks up to them and is like saying like, oh, can I buy you a hotel room, blah, blah, blah. And they seem like very not interested. But because she was live, I think she just kept pushing it to the point where she was even like, it turned into from helping them to like accusing them of trafficking their child because they wouldn't let her take him, to like a point where they're even walking away and she tries to reach to grab one of their kids and the mom like punches her in the face. And so it was just like really, really, really weird and like really uncomfortable because it's this whole like white saviorism thing that I think she was like trying to do. It just like, it was like really, really awkward. She was like, she had no idea like that, like she had like said that they were Syrian refugees, but like she had no way of knowing that. Like it was just really awkward and like really, really unfortunate. Like the follower count that she has and like that she's broadcasting that to a ton of people, which I guess we'll talk about the positives and negatives after we flip the coin. But it was definitely an interesting story to come out of this weekend.
Yeah, especially 2 days before Mean Girls Day. Well, we're talking
Right.
about 2 days before Mean or one day.
One day,
before.
yeah.
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Mean Girls Day on a Wednesday, so it's peak Mean Girls.
Yeah, so I guess we can flip the coin for Lindsay.
Yeah,
Negatives.
negatives, cool.
Negative.
Yeah, I kind of started that. Do you guys want to? Do you have
Yeah.
anything else to add?
I think it's just it's really an irresponsible thing to put out there, to go live on Instagram and try to be the savior without walking into a situation with any knowledge too. It was really,
Yeah.
I don't know, I found it very offensive. She was walking in and she was putting on an accent. I don't know if she felt uncomfortable just, you know, being Lindsay Lohan out on the street in a foreign country, but the whole thing was just really cringeworthy. I wish people would find other ways to try to make a difference.
Yeah,
But that's the whole point. Is we have this access at our fingertips at any moment. Well, not we, because we don't have 3 million followers, but this celebrity and the influencers on social media have access to these audiences at any time. They have worldwide audiences. The thing with Lindsay Lohan happened I think it happened at night in the US. I'm not really sure. But things happen all the time across the country or across the world. And no matter where you are, you're going to have an audience for it. And so it's the idea that no matter what you're doing, no matter what decisions you're making, you are able to go live and share it with anyone. And then that is going to influence how people feel about something, whether it's for positive or negative. And that's the benefit and the catch-22 at this, of being live, of having access to that, of doing what we love to do, which is sharing live content with people and making people feel part of events, making people feel part of something that's happening live, and they can be there with them. And that is the root of it. It's like people like Lindsay and Will Smith, they want, for whatever reason, they want people to feel like they're with them there. Will Smith wants people to feel like they're with him on this bungee jump. Lindsay wants people to feel like people are with her as she's saving people's lives. Sorry, that shouldn't have made me laugh, but it did. And yeah, it can range obviously from as produced as Will Smith's was to as unproduced as Lindsay Lohan's was. And like, what does that mean for live video, for the commentators, the people commenting on Lindsay's feed of like, where are you? How can I help? All of those kind of things, all the way down to people being like, what do you think you're doing? And she's able to interact with them in the moment about this really tough subject at the same time. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
yeah, it's interesting. It's because like like the whole thing with the internet is like the democracy of it, and like the anyone can do anything. In which it's like both positive and negative. It's like great that we do have like a platform that is like free to use, as long as you're like within certain like Instagram guidelines and restrictions. But yeah, it also could be if you have that huge audience and you're doing something, I guess, like unplanned like that, like there's like a vetting, like there's a reason that like producers have like a vetting process and stuff. It's like to avoid things like this for content. So it's like you can do that kind of content, but there's just like a way to do it. And it's interesting that like celebrities like use Instagram and Twitter and stuff to go talk directly to their fans, but sometimes there's like a benefit to some vetting processes for not just necessarily just going direct stream of consciousness to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people can handle going off the cuff like that and doing a really great job and staying on, like keeping their wits about them
Yeah.
when they're doing it, and others don't do so well.
Yeah, it's like
regardless of their intent.
Yeah, I feel like it's like one of those secretly like things that don't look like you need training for, but you really do. Like if you do a good job, it doesn't look like you have training, but like that kind of stuff, like the improv on air type of thing, feel like you need to be good at it, or else it go very south.
Yeah, or if you just happen to be like really self-aware, it really helps, I think. Some people also are less self-aware about like how things they do come across, and that's where having a great producer kind of holding that access really can help you there.
Yeah. I also am a big believer that anyone who says they're self-aware is not self-aware whatsoever. So yeah, so that was a little bit of a deeper one. But yeah, anything else you guys want to say about what we're talking about? Social influence of media?
Nah, I feel like
Wow.
those are like a very different like worlds, like from the produced, like Will Smith jump all the way to like the spontaneous things. Just like crazy what live does, and like how quickly it could get into people's pockets,
Definitely. We'll see if we have one comment from Nick Bacon. Hey Nick's our friend in Chicago. Did y'all produce that one? I'm guessing you're asking about Will Smith. Although I would have loved to have been the one holding Chris Rock's phone at SNL. We did not produce the Will Smith Grand Canyon stream. It would have been fun. They can
That'd
call
have
us
been
next
awesome.
time,
Yeah,
So
yes. Just a phone call away.
anytime. And Bruce loves our heavy breathing. All right, Bruce, we'll work on that for you.
Oh, that was totally me.
No, it's
You
we're
can
all.
move that microphone just a little bit, rotate it in.
And then for good measure, because we give Nick Walsh the really hard job of trying to work on visuals while he's talking, I want people to see your Twitter handle. So let's tag you one
Oh
time.
yeah. Boom.
Let's tag him. Oh, yep. Yeah.
There it
Ready,
goes.
take Walsh. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys again for watching another Ready Take Live, and we'll sign off in the way that we always do. We wish you the best of luck on your next live production. Roll the credits.
Yeah, I had them here. Then they seem to have disappeared.
Cool.
Cool. That's
So
give me one minuto.
yeah.
Pull that back in.
Chad said burn. Not sure who we're burning. That might have been Lindsay.
The world.
Sorry, Lindsay. We're not burning the world.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm ready on credits.
All right. We wish you the best of luck on
your own
next
next live production.
Roll the credits.